Jake and Emily were a seasoned team of truck drivers, known for their smooth operations and resilience on the road. On this particular night, they were navigating a remote stretch of Interstate 40 through the desolate deserts of Arizona, transporting a vital load from North Carolina to California. The evening had started uneventfully, with Jake at the wheel and Emily resting in the sleeper berth. As the miles passed, the darkness settled heavily over the landscape, and the temperature began to drop. Jake was focused on the road, the highway stretching endlessly before him. The only sounds were the rhythmic hum of the engine and the occasional rustle of wind outside. Emily, in the sleeper berth, was trying to get some rest, wrapped in her blankets. Suddenly, Jake noticed a drastic change in the truck's interior. The temperature inside the cab plummeted, and a chilling draft swept through, causing him to shiver. He glanced over to Emily's berth, where he saw her stirring in discomfort. "Hey, Emily, you okay back there?" Jake called out, trying to mask his own unease. "I'm freezing." Emily's voice came back, laced with concern. "Can you turn on the heater?" Jake quickly reached for the heater controls, but despite turning the dial up to full blast, the cold only seemed to intensify. The heater's warm air was struggling to combat the bone-chilling cold that had enveloped the cab. As the truck continued down the deserted highway, Emily emerged from the berth, her face pale and her breath visible in the frigid air. She joined Jake in the cab, trying to help him troubleshoot the heater. "Jake, look ahead. There's something on the road." Emily's voice was barely a whisper, her eyes wide with fear. Jake squinted through the windshield and saw a shadowy figure standing in the middle of the highway. It was a man dressed in tattered, old-fashioned clothing, his eyes glowing with an eerie light. The figure seemed to be beckoning them to stop, and the truck's headlights flickered as if in response. Panic gripped Jake as he slammed on the brakes. The truck skidded, its tires struggling for grip on the dark, lonely road. The figure moved closer, its spectral form becoming more distinct and unsettling. Its hollow eyes and twisted face radiated an intense malevolence. Emily's hands were shaking as she fumbled with the radio, trying to reach dispatch or anyone who might help. The radio was filled with static, punctuated by ghostly whispers that sent shivers down their spines. Despite their efforts, the heater continued to fail, and the cab remained icy cold. The spectral figure hovered closer, its presence pressing against the truck like a suffocating weight. The shadows around them seemed to writhe and twist, and the ghostly figure's features grew even more horrifying. It was as if the spirit was trapped in a cycle of torment, seeking release or retribution. Desperate to escape, Jake threw the truck into reverse. The truck's tires kicked up dust as it struggled to gain traction. Emily clung to the dashboard, her fear palpable as the ghostly figure pursued them, its mournful wails echoing through the night. Finally, they reached a small town and pulled into a brightly lit truck stop. The figure vanished as they crossed into the safety of the town's lights, but the cold and terror lingered in the cab. Jake and Emily were left shaken, their faces pale with the memory of the encounter. At the truck stop, they recounted their experience to the few truckers and locals who were present. Their story was met with a mix of disbelief and concern, but the encounter had left an indelible mark on them. From that night forward, Jake and Emily vowed never to drive that desolate stretch of Interstate 40 again. The phantom they had faced was a haunting reminder of the dark corners of the world, where restless spirits roamed and the cold could be more than just a chill, it could be the touch of something malevolent and otherworldly.